So, you are looking to go and experience grandmother ayahuasca. Well, you come to the right place. My name is Alex Salamone, and I am going to share everything I've experienced with the medicine and what are some things you can prepare for if you're looking to partake in the medicine, grandmother ayahuasca. So first thing you should know is that everything I'm about to share is just my experience with the medicine. It doesn't mean that this is the only way and this is the way you must do it. It's just me sharing my experience, my perspectives, and also something for you to think about as you're looking into potentially doing the medicine. Now, I have created this video because I remember that feeling when grandmother ayahuasca first came to me, and there was this feeling like I knew I needed to partake in the medicine, and I was getting all of these different places, like messages of all these different places that I could go to, right? But none of them were really resonating with me. I had multiple opportunities to do it here in the United States and with different people, different groups, but it just wasn't resonating with me until a dear friend of mine that I trust called me and said, "Hey, we're actually having an indigenous guy, a page, which is like a shaman, if you want to call it, that's coming from Brazil, who is going to be administering a ceremony, with ayahuasca." And, it was the weekend of my birthday. And I said, you know what? I'm going to do it. Let's do it. It feels right. Everything inside of me said yes. So I went ahead and jumped on that. So that was my initial presentation of the medicine. And before that, I had watched some YouTube videos and like you get an idea. There's a lot of different mixed stuff out there. But what I want to provide you is just a one-on-one tips on what to look for, what to do, what to bring, how to prepare if you're wanting to drink medicine for the first time. If you are a beginner, what are some things that I wished I knew that would have helped me a lot in my journey? And so when I did my first ceremony, I learned a lot. I learned that the medicine is very powerful, after all, indeed. But there are some tools, there are some things that can really help you with your journey, with your experience. And whether you are religious or spiritual or none of the above, it doesn't really matter. What it matters is that you have your intention clear, that you go to drink this medicine with the right intention. This is very, very, very important that you don't just go and do it because you want to experience the, tripping experience of ayahuasca, because ayahuasca is not a drug. It is a medicine, and it should be treated with respect, and it should be approached with the same integrity and intention and respect that it deserves. And so, whatever reason you're looking to do medicine, I want to invite you to really think about that. Meditate on it, pray on it, whatever you want to do that helps you connect with that intention really deeply before you even go and connect with the medicine. This is important because there will come a point, there will come a moment that the medicine will ask or will show you things, right? And this is a great opportunity for you to dive into some things that you are unsure about. Dive into some healing that you want to do perhaps, or some clarity that you would like to get. And there are times in which the medicine will just show you something. So the first time I went, I had a specific intention, but that shifted, right? My my intention was to see my deepest, darkest blockages that I was holding in pain. And so the medicine took me there, it showed me it, and I had to heal from it. So before I go diving into any of those things and diving so much in my on about my experience, I want to actually cover the important things that you should know as far as how to prepare for your ceremony. And most importantly, where to go to. This is like actually the number one most important thing that I would say that matters when it comes to this medicine. I've had the privilege to drink the medicine here in the United States, but also out in Brazil in the Amazon jungle with indigenous people. And I had the biggest privilege to actually attend the Ayahuasca conference, which happens every year, and where you have all the tribes from different parts of Central, North, Central, and South America. All the tribes come together and they discuss issues that are happening not only within the indigenous community, but also within the medicine community. And as you know, probably by now, ayahuasca has become very much of a mainstream topic. It is talked about in every way, shape, or form. You can even see it in the news. You have football players who are drinking the medicine and are talking about it. You have people like Aubrey Marcus. You have people like um, many people, right, that really talk about this medicine. So it's become very popular. At the same time, there's very little education around this, like real education about this medicine. And that is a concern because it can be really dangerous if you go and do this medicine under the supervision of someone who is not experienced, that is just administering the medicine, but does not know how to really navigate in that realm of spirituality or in the realm of learning how to help people, how to guide someone that's having a really intense, energetic, time, or processing something really deep, and it can be dangerous. And so I really want to encourage you that wherever you go to do this medicine, that you really do your research. Don't just take it from someone that you went and they had a good experience. I would say make sure that the practitioner that is administering the medicine knows what they're doing. They've been working with the medicine for years, if not most of their life. I say this because it is a very complex medicine. It is a very intense medicine. And sometimes people feel, especially, up here on the West, in North America, I have met a few people who have drank medicine maybe a couple of years and they think like, wow, I've had a lot of medicine and I'm now an expert. I know how to call in spirits, I know how to do all this stuff. And some people can do those things. And I'm not saying that or judging them, but it's one thing to handle yourself. You can call spirits, you can do prayers, you can do chants, you can do these things for yourself. That's okay. Another thing is being in charge of a group of people. Another thing is one thing is, sorry, drinking ayahuasca for a couple of years versus some of these people growing up drinking from 8 years old and above. So for them, this medicine it's in their blood. They understand it inside and out, and they're really able to tap into this field of spirituality and to bring in the right energies and the right spirits. And so this is why I would recommend that you actually go with a practitioner that is indigenous or a practitioner that has been working with the medicine for the majority of their life. So that way you know that they know what they're doing, whatever comes up, and you feel safe, you feel secure, but also you know that there's not going to be any strange things coming in at the same time. So that's number one. Number two, once you figure out the place that you want to do it in, the individual, all this other stuff, I would also understand what kind of energies do they work with, right? This is very important because for instance, in Brazil and in Peru, and different areas of South America, there are different tribes that work with different spirits. And what I mean by this is, for instance, the tribe when I went to Brazil, that I worked with was the Ashaninka. The Ashaninka work with bird spirits primarily. They don't work with a snake, right? But the Hinukuin, which is another tribe from Brazil that I have worked with as well, they do. And so, they are going to bring that energy of the snake, which, I'll cover in a different video, all the meanings of that. But they would, the Ashaninka would never bring in that energy, which will have different results, will have different experiences, right? With how your journey goes. And I say these things is because it's important to really do your research, right? Really understand what you're getting yourself into. It's not just a matter of drinking ayahuasca and then having a journey. It's also just understanding where you're going, what the stage is going to be like, and the director of that stage. Okay. Secondly, I would say be careful about paying or overpaying and or underpaying. So what I mean by that is I have seen many places that overcharge for you to go and drink medicine, especially in Mexico. Fun fact, ayahuasca is not native in Mexico. What this means is it does not grow naturally in Mexico. So people who are administering the medicine who are from Mexico, they actually don't know really what they're talking about. Not everyone, but the majority of the time, right? So now they are known for peyote, they're known for San Pedro, they're known for many other different types of medicines, including mushrooms, right? So they are the experts on that because it grows there, they work the land, they have a connection with the land, and therefore it works, right? But ayahuasca does not grow in Mexico. So what these people are doing is they're creating centers, healing centers, where you can go and experience this, or in Costa Rica, and people are paying thousands of dollars to go and drink medicine, again, under somebody that does not know what they're doing. So really be careful about that. Same thing with if something is too cheap. For instance, if someone is saying, yeah, you can come drink ayahuasca for like 150 bucks, that's something to be concerning as well, to look out for, because that is not normal. Now, theoretically, all medicines, all of these medicines, people should not be charging. Okay. That's the theoretical aspect. And that's because that's just how traditionally has been, right? But that's not the case. That's not reality nowadays. And so chances are you're going to have to pay to experience this, okay? But just in other words, just really do your homework, and if you're unsure about it, then don't go with it. It's not worth it. And if you are interested in drinking medicine from actual indigenous people, then go ahead and reach out to me and I can point you to the right direction. So if you're looking to do medicine here, there are ways that I can get you set up with that. Now let's dive into how to prep. Now, depending on where you go and to drink medicine and for how long, it's going to depend on the preparation. Now, for me, the biggest thing that I did, that I'm glad that I did, was that I physically prepared my body before going to drink medicine. And what I meant by that is I started to really cut down on the processed foods, which I wasn't really consuming much of that. I was mainly eating, I was vegan for the most part, but I was eating sugar things here and there, like on and off. But for that week, I really cut down everything. I was not, I was eating fish, but very light, and I was just mainly eating veggies and really drinking lots of water, flushing things out of my system. so that way the medicine could work really well. There are certain spices that the medicine does not like. And so I just steered away from all spices and I just had very little salt, um, and that's it. So just keeping it really, really cleansed. Now, do you have to do this? No, you don't have to. It is recommended. If you are going to do a dieta, right? A dieta is an actual diet. If that's what you're going to be doing, then they will provide you with that diet, right? Meaning when you get to the center and you drink, they're gonna put you on a diet, on a special diet. If you're going overseas to do this, that's for a long period of time, like 10 plus days, then that's typically they'll create that diet for you. But if you're not, if you're having a shorter experience, then this is what you can do, right? So you can prep on your own. So once you have the diet figured out, the week of before going, I would start personally like the month before, just cleaning up. Like if you eat meat, if you eat dairy products and things like this, I would start cutting out a month in advance, like cutting those things off. Because a lot of these animal products, they carry a lot of energy. They also carry a lot of chemicals, right? Endorphins and such that alter your state of being. So this medicine is really powerful. And so if you can cleanse from any exterior energies or any exterior chemicals or things like that, it will be better. It will work much better. And speaking of chemicals, this brings me to the next portion, which is supplements. You really want to steer away from supplements also ahead of time. So typically this is like 2 weeks, maybe a week if you're cutting it kind of close, is one of the things that you would have to stop. Any sort of supplements, even vitamins, all of those, you have to really cut that out. When it comes to prescription medicine, it is recommended that you actually don't take those as well. And this is the part where a lot of people are not able to participate in the medicine because they take prescription drugs, whether that might be for depression or for anxiety or for blood pressure or whatever it may be, epilepsy, like you have a bunch of things, right? Um, Unfortunately, the medicine, it's not a good mix to mix something that is synthetic, that is producing uh, chemicals and in your mind, reducing dopamine or different hormones, excuse me, in your mind, and or developing blockages from other things to come through. It's really dangerous, and it's really not okay to do that. So again, once you, if and once you go to, you find the place that you want to attend to drink medicine, they should tell you all of these things, okay? But if for whatever reason they don't, then now you're hearing it from me. You need to cut off supplements and cut out prescription medicine. Next thing is going to be uh, now spiritually prepping for your ceremony. If you're not a meditator, you should probably at least try. At least try to learn how to calm your mind, right? Get in the habit of practicing some deep breaths, really connecting, right, with your intention that you're trying to connect with. This is really important because if you have a super mega busy mind, and when you get to there and you drink medicine, you're going to experience a lot. It can get intense because your mind is just going everywhere. So it's important to really practice on how to calm the mind. So if you ever get in situations where it's getting too intense, you can trust that you know how to calm yourself by breathing and by also bringing yourself back to the present moment or to a different uh, into a different experience. And lastly, I would say be really mindful of the things that you watch and listen to. So when I did it, especially when I went, the second time when I went to Brazil, to the jungle, for that month, I was very careful. I did not listen to any music that had any sort of weird messaging or anything that was vulgar or anything like that. Not that I did anyways, but I was really cautious about that. And same thing with movies, same thing with television. I'm not a big television guy. I only watch, documentaries or things that help me learn. But even still, I cut that off. I cut TV because that goes into your mind, that goes into your subconscious. And if you're watching these things, these violence or sex, things with these energies, it can have an influence on your experience. So those are just some of the basics that you can prepare as far as some of the things that you can do, right? Another thing that I want to talk about is what to bring with you in your ceremony. Again, it all depends what your belief systems are, but something that you will see across the board with anyone that works with ayahuasca is that they work with certain plants on top of ayahuasca. Also keep in mind that there are very different types of strains of ayahuasca. It's not just one type. There are many, many, many variations of the vine, right? Ayahuasca is a vine, and they take that, and then there's different types of vines, by the way, as well. And then they combine other plants on top of it when they cook it. Now, I've seen this myself being done in the jungle, and I have had the privilege to actually participate in when it comes to cooking the medicine, beating the vines, separating the both of the parts that you separate, and then putting it into a pot and cooking it all. So I have tasted many different types of ayahuascas, and they all have very different intensities and they have different experiences, right? But for the most part, you get the same spirit of the ayahuasca and does the same thing as far as like showing you what you need to see. Now, some people or some traditions, they work with different types of um, smells. So, for instance, you might have some that use copal, which is a resin used in Mexico and primarily used in ceremonies with like San Pedro um, or peyote, right? But maybe that's a tradition in South America that works with that. Or others might be sage, right? So you might have some that they work with sage. And sage, there's different types of sage within the sage plant. This is white sage, for instance, but there are various different types of sage, and that's used to cleanse the room. Others might work with Palo Santo. Same thing. It's a tree that provides cleansing and all this stuff. So there's a lot of different things that you might get exposed to. I share this with you because in case you have a problem with smoke, or if you have a problem with any sort of natural plants being exposed, it's something that you should look into and consider, okay? Because once you're there, and you have to be really respectful of the space of the container that individual, the page, the shaman, which I don't like to use that term, but the individual is really building a secure space for you to go on this journey to navigate with the medicine. And so they may use different types of healing remedies to before and or during your ceremony. So understand what those things are just so you're not surprised, but also from a cultural perspective that sometimes it's rude to deny those things and or it's actually it's supposed to help you, right? Now, I say all of that because you also might want to say, hey, well, what if I want to bring some of these things with me? Then that's something for you to ask the facilitator. Because some people don't work with sage or Palo Santo, and they're not going to be okay with that actually, because they believe in certain energies that the plants carry that they're not currently working with in that moment in time. But almost every single culture that I know of is 100% okay with agua florida. Now, agua florida it's this sacred water, right? It's like waters from flower, essentially. You can buy this on Amazon. I'll put the link down below. And this is used to cleanse yourself. So you can put it on your hands and smell it, and that really helps if you're going through a hard time. The smell, because it has a little bit of alcohol, it actually like snaps you out of it a little bit, and it helps you come back out of that intensity that you're maybe going through. I like to use it for cleansing my body. So once I drink the medicine, before I drink it, I will put a little bit into my mouth and I will blow it inside my shirt. And then, do this number to just blow any energy to open up the heart. And then I'll also use it, excuse me, in my hands to cleanse out any sort of energy that I have. And if I'm feeling really sick, because a little fun fact, if you didn't know, the medicine will you will purge. You will purge from the medicine. You might purge from throwing up. You might purge from having to go number two. You may purge from burping, as I'm doing right now. So there's different ways to purge, and all that means is releasing energy, right? But most people do throw up. They do purge from the mouth. And so it's very common. And so when that happens, I like to afterwards put a little bit on my hand, rub it together, and smell that. And the smell of alcohol helps with nausea, but also the smell of this wonderful medicine also helps me really cleanse of whatever I just let go of. So this is something that you can take with you, and you can order it before and start working with it. If you're gonna go drink ayahuasca, most people who are wanting to explore this, they will either become spiritual or they already are spiritual, in some shape, way, or form. Um, and this is something that it will become one of your many tools once you get into this field of of working with this medicine and many others, right? I use this for meditation. I use this for habe. I use this for many things. And so this is something that you can bring with you that can really help you if you're having a hard time during your ceremony. Now, another thing that I have learned that is really, really helpful if you're new is to have some sentimental item that means a lot to you, that has a good, strong meaning and good connection with it. What I mean by this is it could be a cross for those of you who are Christians. It could be a crystal, right? Maybe it's a crystal that you really like or that you feel connected to. Maybe it's a necklace, maybe it's a pendant, whatever it may be. But have that with you because that can also help you in your journey when you're having a hard time. Another thing that it's good to know, maybe you did not know this, but ayahuasca is always done in the evening. So, what this means is that you're going to be up all night. All night you'll be up. And the one thing that people will tell you, the pages or whoever you're working with, is you don't want to fall asleep under the medicine, not only because it's dangerous, but also you're not able to do the work either, right? So you're going to be encouraged to stay up. You're not going to be in some comfy bed or anything like that. You're probably going to be in a circle. Traditionally, that's how it's done in a maloca, or maloca is like a they have these houses made out of bamboo and stuff out in the jungle in Central and South America, or it might be outside. When I was in the jungle, 90% of the time it was outside under the stars. Again, different cultures work with different things. So the Hinukuin, the Yawanawa, for instance, these tribes they use a fire right in the center, and then you'll be around the fire. They use music, they encourage you to dance and move to move the energy, right? Whereas the Ashaninka, they don't work with the fire. So there's no fire in the center and there's no singing during the ceremonies. So it's quiet. They do chanting, which is very different. So That's why, again, you want to do your research and really see what resonates with you, um, because that's really important. But anyway, that being said, also be mindful that your temperature does drop a little bit when you go under the medicine. So coming prepared with enough clothing is really important. So socks, if it's cold, even if it's unless it's like for sure it's going to be hot, then fine. You know, that's different. You can always remove layers and then to then and not have to worry about it, then to have to be cold and then having not having layers to put on. So for me in the jungle, for instance, it was really hot during the day, but in the evening, at night, it got really cold. So, I would layer up and make sure that I was comfortable because that will help as well. They have medicine for this too, but if you are a beginner, I don't want to plant this seed in your mind, but it could help. And if that is something that you are interested in, please let me know and I can help you with that. And what that is there's this medicine called mambe. So mambe is made with coca leaves, and this medicine is used and it comes from Colombia primarily, but is also used in various different parts of South America within the indigenous culture. This medicine, it's not cocaine, okay? Uh, it has coca leaves amongst many other leaves as well, and it's becomes a powder. It's a green powder in which you would put in your mouth and you kind of like chew it and you let it sit there and it helps you stay up all night. It also helps you with the various other things, right? But because it's made organically and there's no synthetic chemicals or anything like that, it works well with the medicine ayahuasca. And so that's one thing that you can use. You cannot use energy drinks. You cannot use anything with like caffeine while you're doing the medicine because it's frowned upon and you will have a very, you could have like anxiety, you could have really unpleasant experiences. Okay. So if you don't want to do the medicine that I just shared with you with called mambe, um, then another thing that you can do is finding smells that wake you up. So some essential oils are good that have citrus that can help you wake up, or pepper if you're feeling like you're struggling. That's something that helps a lot. And also chanting. So a lot of the times you're going to have your eyes closed, you're going to be deep in your journey, and you know, I always made sure that when I do medicine that I'm sitting up like I am now. Sitting, I mean, I'll even lower this so you can see. I'm literally sitting in a meditation position and I have something to support my back and that's it. I'll sit here. I might switch to here, but I'm sitting up. I'm comfortable enough, but not too comfortable either, that it would be easy for me to fall asleep. So that's something else that you want to keep in mind. These are just the fundamentals. These are just the basics, right? These are just some of the things that I feel are important if you're new and you're wanting to experience the medicine. These are some things that you can prep so that you can have the best experience when you take the medicine. But again, this is just my experience. Yes, I've drank a decent amount of medicine, and both here in the United States and out in the Amazon. But I have only worked with indigenous people. So I don't have the perspective of working with non-indigenous people. I don't have the perspective of having non-traditional ceremonies. So I can't give you that. But I'm just giving you what I experienced and has had a profound change and a profound impact in my life and in my spiritual realm, and I'm so grateful that I listened to my intuition and I followed the path that felt good because it's made a huge difference in my journey. So those are the basics. If you can just remember that: diet, It's very important, at least 30 months in advance, definitely 2 to 3 weeks, or 2 weeks, a week minimum. Supplements, very, very important. Exposure to media, music, outside exposures, period. Make sure that you're not exposing yourself to violence, or try to stay calm, try to be in a calm state, and you're not watching anything like this. Proper preparation and doing your research. Where do you want to go? Ensuring that this place is legit, ensuring that the facilitator is well experienced and knowledgeable with the medicine, and that most importantly that you feel it in your gut, like, yes, this is where I really want to go. Make sure that it's not too expensive. Anything above 5 grand for 10 days is too much. So if you're looking to do a dieta, like a diet, which is really aggressive, but you can do it the first time. If you want to go deep, it's a 10-day, process. Then make sure that it's nothing more than 5 grand, because it should not cost more than that, especially if you're going overseas. And then if you are going to do like a weekend thing where it's like a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, or Friday and Saturday type of thing, then it should not be less than $500, to be honest. Like anything less than that, then you should probably worry a little bit. Okay? So again, just doing your homework on that, and then be prepared with the right tools that you want to bring. Again, I recommend agua florida. Bring your crystals, whatever it helps you feel safe, ensuring that you have the proper equipment so that you're warm, so you're comfortable. Um, and then keep in mind that you're going to be up all night, sometimes like multiple days. So you got to stay up. So if you do all of these things, I promise you that you will have a really good experience. And anything that comes up that may be intense is just the medicine providing light, shedding light into that space, into that wound, into that whatever it is that it needs healing from you. And most importantly, I would say remember to surrender. Remember to surrender to the medicine. Don't go in with fear. Don't go in there with like, oh, I'm afraid, because if you are in that state of fear, then that's what's going to manifest. You're going to attract that energy. So go in there knowing that you have been called to do this, that you know that it's going to provide some beautiful healing. Go in there with respect, respect yourself, but surrender. Surrender to the process, surrender to the medicine, trust yourself, trust the medicine. And if you need help, ask for help. Ask whoever the facilitator is, and or his or her crew. Like for us, we have guardians. So I'm, for instance, a guardian. So a guardian is someone that's a little bit more experienced with the medicine, and while everybody else is going on their journey, we ensure that if someone is having a hard time, that we go and we assist them, with different types of, maybe I give you a little bit of agua florida, maybe I blow some air on your face and I just walk you, hey, take some deep breath. And if it's bad, and if it's too bad, if it's too strong, we can't do anything, then the page comes and he does the healing, if it's necessary. But don't ever be afraid to ask, or to say, hey, I'm really, really scared uh, with what's going on. But also be brave and understand that this is an opportunity for you to face your fears, to face whatever makes you uncomfortable, right? And overcome that. And when you surrender, you'll see, and I promise you, that the medicine will give you a reward. It always does. But if you fight it, it can get really intense, because that energy is getting stronger. That fear in which the medicine is trying to help you release, you're hanging on to it. So it's really important that you go in with a clear mind, open heart, and to surrender. Anyway, I hope this was helpful. I will be making more videos about ayahuasca and other medicines such as psilocybin, microdosing, mambe, hape, which I've already made one if you're interested in hape, which is a great one if you end up doing it with the indigenous people. Many tribes in the South America use hape, and I'll post the video up here for you to go and check it out if you're interested in learning about that medicine. But I will be posting more videos here about my experiences with the different medicines and what are some ways that you can prepare if you're looking to experience them. Thank you so much. Stay brave. Don't forget to like, subscribe, please, and give this video some love for it helps so that it can reach more people, helps the algorithm. And if you have any questions, reach out on the comments and or send me an email, and I'm more than happy to help in any way I can. All right, thank you so much. As they say in the Hinakuin, Ashaush, which means good and bad no matter what. It's all good. It's all medicine. Ashaush.